What's up, folks? Today is Wednesday. We had a chance to rain this morning. Luckily, we missed it. I don't think it's supposed to rain no more this afternoon or nothing. It's supposed to rain Saturday, I think. It's supposed to turn back off cool, be like 39 Saturday night. So, we ain't done with winter yet, quite yet. Or we ain't done with the colder weather quite yet. We're working on it. Um, so now we're trying to stack up a little bit of wood and get a little bit of wood up here where we can work and not be behind like we've been all week. Which the only reason we've been behind is because the skidders have been kept giving us trouble. Every time we turn around, it's blowing a hose. It blew a hose yesterday. I don't remember what happened. Oh, the day before that, it just didn't want to run. It was a loose wire on the back of the injection pump. That's the reason it didn't want to run. So we got that fixed. Just typical stuff. I mean, when you end up logging woods, you run into stuff like that. Just got to take it one day at a time. So now we're trying to catch up and get ahead a little bit. I got 3 trucks coming back. I only get 5 loads today. I got 3 trucks coming back. One of them's gonna get a new south, the other 2 gonna get putwood or chipping saw, and the other 2 gonna get putwood. So as long as don't nothing mess up this afternoon, should be pretty easy going. Afternoon, always potential. We were talking about it earlier. There ain't money in logging like it used to be. I know a man one time, he's out of logging now, and the reason he's out, he said, because it won't how much money you going to make back in the day. He said it was how much you wanted to make, how hard you were willing to work to make it. Nowadays, no matter how hard you work, the money is just, it's there. It's just you got to work twice as hard to get it. You can't just decide how much you want to make, how hard you want to go, so you can make that. So you work just as hard as you can to make the little bit that you can. And everybody always thinks that there's a lot of money in logging. I ain't figured that out yet. Because if you look at the risk that we all take, if you look at we handle big money, but as far as actually making money, there's not that much to be made. Now that there's not a lot of loggers out there talking about it, but just like what we're doing, getting paid by the ton, there's no real way to make a hit unless you buy 1 or 2 of your own tracks and can make a little extra off of them, but pretty much it's regulated. It's regulated now to where somebody, if there becomes any extra money in it, some new group or organization starts up where you have to have them, and they take that little bit back out of it. Right now, equipment, it's cheap to buy a piece of equipment. The expensive part is keeping it running. if you're gonna keep it running for a while. I mean, most of these guys around here in the South that I know of are pretty much leasing it. They're buying it, quote unquote, making payments on it, and then in 3 or 4 years, about every 5,000 hours, they'll trade it in, um, get another piece, do the same thing. It's just a constant rotation of equipment, which is a good thing if you're going to produce a lot. But as far as just like cotton topping them move a lot of wood. They don't have brand new equipment. Most of their stuff's probably about paid for, if not paid for. But the problem whenever you get into that is like his fix 'em fest. You've got to take extra time to set aside extra time because you're gonna have more maintenance and required work that you got to do to it. Um, if you can look after it good enough to where once you get it paid for, your cotton top of them got it figured out. But it took them a long time to get there. They didn't do it overnight. In other words, say their stuff, 2 or 3 of their machines are paid for, then they've got it made. But they're going to have to replace those 2 or 3 machines. So it's just like, well, what we used to do, our company used to do, is that we would buy a new machine, pay for it, just pay for it outright. Let that machine pay for, say you bought a new skidder, pay for the new skidder. Back in the day, it was like, I don't know, $130,000. It was nowhere near what it is now. Whenever the first crew worth of equipment that my granddaddy ever bought, they paid $130,000, which I know inflation and all that, but they paid $130,000 for a skidder, a cutter, and a loader, brand new. Or it might have been 160. It was somewhere, but it wasn't nowhere near what it costs now. Um, but nowadays, if you do that, you you can't afford. It's hard for a machine to pay for another machine. If you get it to where you bought a machine, pay for itself, and then you get another machine and let each piece help pay for the other one, then you've got to get on a rotation. And that's what happened. We got off the rotation in 2008 whenever the economy went down, and we've never got back on top of it. So, but anybody that thinks there's a lot of money in logging, there's not. Everybody, like anything else, is nickeled and dimed to death to where now you can't just go out there. If you've got the money to buy a brand new logging crew, you're better off to take that money and invest it somewhere else. Especially if you've never done it. Now, if you've done it, it's hard to get it out of your blood. I ain't gonna try and talk you out of it because I know how that is. But you can't just. It's tough. Anybody that starts a logging crew and keeps one going and produces and makes payments and everything, hands down, you got it. You got it figured out. Um, but the next rotation of equipment is where it's really going to tell. Here in North Carolina, I've heard 2 or 3 guys that have tried that and went really big to begin with. They didn't last that long. I mean, they lasted 4 or 5 years. But you can't just start out with 3 or 4 crews and expect to. You've got to have your hand in it. You got to be there. You got to make sure everybody's doing their job right and all that good stuff. So Anyway, I just figured I'd talk to y'all a little bit about that. And just tell anybody that's not in logging that there's not as much money in it as people think. It's just like farming. The only difference is farmers have got crop insurance. We don't have any kind of insurance as far as if we buy a tract of timber and it doesn't cut out, then we can't do nothing about it. So anyway, I'll catch y'all later on. I figured I'd shoot that quick video and just talk to y'all for a minute, but we doing alright this week. And we're moving a little bit of wood, so I'll catch y'all later.